Hey everyone, Manilord here, giving a deck profile for what I used at the Goat Guys Grand Prix Tournament number 3. I decided to use Thunder Dragon Chaos Control because I wanted to play something that was a bit different from Chaos Turbo that I was using quite a bit in the previous tournament, and I wanted to make a few changes, see how it coped against Warriors I actually built. I actually changed the monster lineup from what I normally use. So I used to have a Zero Priest in the main, but I swapped it out for DD Warrior Lady because I expected a lot of aggro matchups going into this tournament. And I dropped the Morphing Jar for second Tsukuyomi for the same reason. And Morphing Jar was better, I feel, when Chaos Turbo was more popular, but without Chaos Turbo in the mix a lot of the time, it tends to be quite risky, especially in the mirror match. You notice that I run only 2 Dequechi and 2 Magician of Faith, so the whole idea is that I run a whole bunch of monsters that are generally not going to be set, so my opponent doesn't really get a chance to activate Noble Mill Crossout. Um, and I found this monster lineup to be quite solid. Yeah, Metacore really, DD Warrior Lady and Azure Priest are interchangeable for me. Um, One thing I want to have a quick point out about is the trap lineup, which is basically one of everything. I like this tech approach where I have a trap card that can can be good in certain situations. When I do draw into it, comes in handy. So people have gone with the approach of, okay, I'm going to max out Sakaretsu armor because of warrior matchup, or I'm going to run more Regeki Break, try to take advantage of the card that the discard fodder that Thunder Dragon offers. But I found that I like one Regeki Break better than two because I won't always have discard fodder. But obviously, the best discard fodders are Sinister Serpent and Thunder Dragon. I won't always have discard fodder. I could be forced into discarding something that I don't want to discard. Um, Dust Tornado, always very handy for blowing away. Can protect me from Snatch Steal. Can blow away any backward I want. Um, and Sakuretsu armor, lone Sakuretsu armor obviously is decent against pretty good against warriors, but I didn't want to have. I wanted to diversify the trap lineup, and yeah, just having that lone Sakuretsu armor it has always been pretty good for me. Surprise the opponents when they think that Mill Force or Ring of Destruction are gone, they can attack freely, and then I flip the Sakuretsu armor. Side deck is a bit of a mishmash, but I don't mind. I don't mind a whole bunch of one-offs. Apart from the trap lineup, so go through them really quickly. Zero Priest, as I mentioned, interchangeable with Warrior Lady for me. Decided in against decks that use their scapegoats. Mystic Swordsman, I bring it in against Chaos Turbo. Against decks that like to set monsters. Necromancer King, probably I could drop it. It's obviously there for Empty Jar, um, but there are times where I guess it could work out because I don't side too many. I do. I don't really side too many monsters, but my opponent can still side in mind controls if they're smart about it. Take control of my Magician Faith, Sequoias, Chaos monsters, deal with them that way. Yeah, it could be cut, but I don't think there's. I don't think I wanna. I just like the safety insurance option against less good empty jar players. uh, Lone creature swap and enemy controller. I wanted I wanted a bit of diversity, so I I do side. Obviously, creature swap goes well with scapegoat, third copy scapegoat that I've got in my side deck, as does enemy controller. One benefit of I tend to side these in. I would yeah side these in against burn actually. I find, but yeah. Mind control. I Mind control is also a card that I think I don't want to be siding in multiple copies. Like, okay, it's great against Chaos Turbo. Probably could drop the Mystic Swordsman level 2 for the mind control, but what I find is that people don't really, once they realize that people are going to be siding in mind control against them. I'm running Thunder Dragons, so Trap Dasher would come in against me. So if they did reveal the mind control, they'd play around it. But in either case, the player, yeah, people always play around mind control. So if I resolve one, I take a good flip monster, or I take a chaos monster, and then recycle it back with Magician of Faith if I can. Third scapegoat, as I touched on, goes in with whenever I want to side in creature swaps and creature swap and enemy controller, but is mainly there for the aggro matchup. Well, aggro matchups that don't trample you, do piercing damage to you. Swords of Revealing Light, same thing. Stall out, bunch of decks, so stall out aggro, but it also comes in handy against OTK decks. Lightning Vortex, I guess you can drop that, but I like the option to board wipe my opponent. Curse Seal for spell heavy decks, mainly empty jaw, library FTK, reasoning gate. Thankfully, didn't face them, but yeah, it's a card that I always want to have in my side deck, to have that insurance policy against those sorts of decks. Royal Decree against anything that's trap heavy, including Burn, and Trap Dust Shoot to line up the traps for a whole bunch of decks. So I mainly side this in against the spell heavy decks, because I find that I can play without them against Chaos Turbo and Dragon Chaos Control. They can come in, but I generally don't. The way I side, I don't fit in Trap Dust Shoot against those sorts of decks. So yeah, here's the deck profile. Just very quick one. Not really too much to say about the deck list outside of explaining the odd cards here and there. So yeah, any more questions, leave them in the comment section. Thanks very much. See you around.